Performance I can remember by anyone. Modric was trash. Chouameni, I think he didn't play, and was a bad game for Fede. First, Jadu was making fun of me. This is the first one for anything, and this was the first game I think Fede was bad. And then maybe I will give a 6 to Asensio and like a 2 for Rodrigo and 1 for Vini. Both of them were left out of the game because the defenses
Let's
uh,
discuss
understand
the players when we get to
that.
them. Yeah, let's discuss the players when we get to them. We'll
Okay.
be doing play by player, but yeah, just
That absolute trash. The Rayo, shout out to Rayo. They played their game absolutely perfect. If the manager was an outstanding manager, I think this proves his point. And the crowd, anything goes for Rayo. Shout out to Rayo, and man,
shout out to Rayo. The first time I think they won against us since the 70s. The last 22 games read 21 wins for us and 1 draw or 1 loss, if I'm not mistaken. It is that bad. It has been that bad for Rayo. So what they did today, absolutely fucking monumental, to say the least. Go on, Javier.
no, that will be all. Like shout out to Rayo, and well, we depend now on Osasuna to recover our first position. Easy as that.
Better said than done. Osasuna is not going to be easy. Osasuna is not an easy team to play, especially when you're kind of unsure about yourself.
But you're motivated, Barcelona are motivated. they're now the first in the
Who do
league.
we play next on Thursday? Who do we play again?
Cadiz,
Cadiz, yeah.
another
Oh,
relegation side.
oh,
So
you were talking about Barca playing Osasuna,
yeah,
right?
yeah, we're talking about them. Yeah,
Osasuna is a good candidate to give them some trouble, but Barcelona. Barcelona by design is meant to churn out wins in La Liga. I
yeah.
mean, they don't have days like we do. They have days when they create so many fucking chances and nobody can find the back of the net. We don't have those kind of days, you know. Usually by individual quality or by just sheer character. On even on days like these, we had no business scoring 2 goals in the first half. Both the
No,
goals were against the play. Both the goals were out of the script. It wasn't a case of us piling on pressure, like putting Rayo under pressure. Nothing. Nothing. I don't know what Luca was doing wearing the armband. Absolutely fucking shambolic. This man who we have applauded, who we used to, like sing hymns for, right? Like he used to get standing ovations back to back to back. What the fuck was he doing on the pitch, man? I couldn't believe my eyes. He couldn't make a 5 yard pass. Luka fucking Modric, Lukita, bro, 5 yard pass. He couldn't make a 5 yard pass. But yeah, Farouk, come on, man. Like, what? How can you put this into perspective?
There is nothing to put into perspective here. I mean, that's the thing. Like, literally nothing. Javier was actually even saying like Chigo, covered himself in graces. I don't think so. I think
Thibaut, second goal, shambolic.
not even the penalties as well. Like
Always,
for the two penalties,
always.
his
Yeah.
line. If he had saved even the second attempt, it would have been taken again at that time because he was off his line for that as well. As you said, for the second goal, absolutely no. And that's why we discussed this like before, like players.
Remember against City, we had talked about this. That this guy,
the
the
Bernardo.
best way to get a Thibaut is whip a shot in
Exactly.
point blank at the near post. He won't save it. Simple.
No, man, like to be honest, like shout out, really big shout out to Rayo, as Javier pointed out, like the coach, and also
Falcao didn't start, experienced Falcao didn't start. He didn't even have to do anything.
they had a game plan, man. They had a game plan, just press from the front foot, and maybe they expected like Falcao wouldn't have that energy to press and what he's not. Because I know we've sat here week in, week out, discussing about how teams, just come and defend with 10 men behind the ball, and you find it difficult to break them down. So like props to Iraola and his guys, man. They came and they brought the fight to us, and they were better than us in every single facet of the game, every single part of the game. I mean, kudos to them, to be honest. Like, I mean, if you're missing Karim Benzema and Luka Modric, like a team like Real Madrid with the players we have should still have no difficulty in dispatching. I mean, okay, not dispatching, but putting up a fight at least. We literally came to, a gunfight with a knife today. That's the whole thing, like we never even stood a chance, never. And as you said, like, I'll even, exaggerate more, not even 2 days. We could play till the end of time and we will still have lost this game. To be honest, we will still have lost.
This is the question I need to ask Don Carlo, Like, I love the man. Like, he has brought me so much joy that I can't ever replicate in my fucking life. Ever, 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 right? But I want to actually ask him, right? You are the head coach of Real Madrid, right? So if you have a feeling, like we all do, the people who are watching, they clearly know that the players are not added. If their minds are on at the World Cup or something, play the fucking B team. Play the fucking B team. Like, leave out like maybe a couple of old heads to kind of, be a reference point and hook everybody off. Hook everybody off. Like, where was people like Arribas? People like Peter Fernandez?
Even Miguel. Yeah.
Where are they? Miguel is out of the club. I'm talking about the people who are still back. Where is Carlos Dotto? Where is the guy that we signed a couple of months ago from the Atleti Academy? I forgot his name.
It doesn't matter who played, actually. We will almost, sit here and comment.
Iker Bravo. Give Iker Bravo a run out.
I mean, the point is, whoever plays today, the point is this: Rayo comes into this game on the back of having defeated Valencia and Sevilla, having drawn with Barcelona and Atleti. So this is a game that you wouldn't take lightly. Hence the reason why he's going with his big guns. The point is that today, I would say there is zero blame on Carlo Ancelotti. Today, the blame 110% lies on every single player who went on the pitch today. What do you
I can't I can't leave him off blame because he should
on
have
my coach
pulled off
okay,
so many players that he didn't
trying to think,
pull off.
okay, who should come on? Who should come on? Is it
Totti should have come off.
is it
I
Carvajal should have
mean,
come off.
Vasquez?
Sonny,
Mendy should have come off.
Sonny,
Simple as.
but if you know that your captain is out because of any reason, I agree with Farouk. It's on the players on the field because even if Carlo do what you are suggesting, we're gonna lose this game and we're gonna destroy Carlo because we're gonna say like, how on earth does he put someone for the B team against a Rayo that it comes
But
for?
then even like then we could kind of reassure ourselves that they were kids. This was their first time out. Yes, Carlo took a very ballsy decision to field youngsters, but we could say this was a learning process. This wasn't a learning process tonight.
Yeah,
This was
but if your first game on your first team, you mentioned Iker Bravo. This cannot be Iker's Bravo first minutes. You know, like
I know.
Iker Bravo deserves to be in, I don't know, like a 5-0 Copa del Rey game in the last 15 minutes. You know, like no pressure to him.
That is
You
perfect
cannot.
circumstances, though. That is a perfect situation. Like I don't understand like why you can't understand the fact that like yes, maybe me mentioning like these guys should have started is an overreaction, but at least when you're clearly on the back foot, lacking ideas, people crossing into empty spaces, from left and right and center, put Ika Bravo in at the 60th minute.
I'm agreeing with you on that. You know, like Iker Bravo, but not this game. If you don't count on Hazard like he doesn't, if you don't want Mariano like he doesn't, you need a bench for Benzema. Put Iker Bravo. I agree with you on that, but this is not the first minutes of Mariano. I think he played in the last, I don't know, like 4 to 5 games, at
I'm
least a few
telling you,
minutes.
Mariano was better than Rodrigo. Mariano was
No,
better
no,
than
no, no, no.
I
whatever
mean,
little
you have that recency bias, don't you, Sunaid, of Rodrigo missing that 5 yard sitter. Yes, we all do, but don't judge him for that. Just
See,
don't
I'm
use
just
that to say
speaking from my heart that come on,
it
what I
sucks.
expect
Today
of
sucked.
Rodrigo and
Yes.
Vinicius, what I expect of Rodrigo and Vinicius, this is not the way. This is not the way. Honestly, Rodrigo should be doing so much better. You guys know
Yeah, but
I will say
Rodrigo
it
is
that way.
21, and earlier this day he just found out that he's gonna go to the World Cup. You know,
I think it's on
you
everybody's minds. It's the
yeah,
World Cup is looming
but
big on
he's.
everybody's minds.
I think he was on the line. You know, I mean, if wasn't the dropout of form from Firmino and also the injury for Coutinho, maybe in terms of his age, didn't bring him on the national squad. You know, I think he was a very emotional, and Rayo defenders knew that. As same as Vini, they drop off of the game because of the mental strength, because they're still kids. They're very talented, but still kids in terms of their mind. You know, they need to be strong. And if they saw this Luka Modric, a grown-ass man, his dad, and they saw he's lost as well. This is a result of like an avalanche of bad combinations. You know, no one. They look at anyone. There's no leader to be found. I'm not saying that Luca wasn't that good. He's one of the greatest captains in terms of positive energy. But in this game, you need someone like Ramos. You need someone like, I don't know, like Casemiro.
When Vinicius was getting bullied, there was nobody in the vicinity trying to get over to him and like give
Yeah,
one back.
but
There's
yeah, I
nobody.
agree with you. When we said in the preview, this was a game for Rudiger to start. And you need that. You know, like Vini
Yeah.
was getting mugged, and then goes Rudiger full scream, and like do something.
Usually
But
Alaba is there. I don't understand. Like I don't know, man. For me, this is very hard to take. Honestly. Yadu, I want to ask you, man. Like, do you find any sense in any of this?
I haven't been this depressed in a couple of weeks. As you guys know, I've been on vacation. I've been chilling. I come back hoping for an easy game, an easy going, continuation of my relaxing. And what I come into is a fucking disaster. I haven't been this sad watching a game since I forgot when. It's been disaster from the first 5 minutes. In the first 30 minutes, I even put in the group chat that their whole team should be sent off at least twice. There were slaps on the back of Vinicius, there were hacks everywhere. People were just bodying our players left, right, center, back. I mean, anywhere on the pitch. It was, as you said, it was bullying. It was just pushing, and everybody's escaping cardless. No problem. Yeah, play on. No, 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 no fouls for Real Madrid. No, and yeah, I got angry in the beginning, and then I just came to the conclusion after two goals down. Surprisingly, we scored, but I still knew it was going to be a loss. I mean, Rayo just looked like they could pull a win out of their ass at any moment, and we just didn't look like it. You know that I don't lose hope until the last moment, but about the 80th minute, about the 85th minute, I was just done with the game. I was just getting everything ready to go live. I mean, I was just watching the game on my little phone, keeping it side by side, getting the OBS ready. It's been so bad.
This is,
Yeah.
guys. I'm just thinking about, maybe you can, any of you can comment on this. Like, this is don't this game doesn't remind you of the Champions League games last season when narrators say like, if Madrid needs to score 5 goals, they will score it. Just the completely opposite, like
Yeah.
180 degrees on the other side. Like, there's no way we're gonna win this game. No matter what, we're not gonna win this game. And we said it earlier, and I think it wasn't on the live transmission yet, but this is a tendency that we all saw that came from October, and the result was in November. Sonny said it, and I agree with him. We didn't play well since the Clásico, and
Since the Classico, I think we have had a very, very, I repeat, very intense stimulation of our ego, which has got into our heads. That is the bottom line, I feel like, clearly, the Classico, the way in which the Classico panned out, got to people's heads. And I would like these guys to remember the 4-0 defeat last season when Barcelona were regarded as, like write-offs, right? They won 4-0, and that was a statement. The Classico last month, it was a statement, but it wasn't a drubbing. So I don't understand where
No,
all
no,
the
the difference is, I think the difference is this time. I mean, at least last time after the Clasico, we switched on. And this time after the Clasico, we switched off. It's been going downhill ever since. And last season, we had a point to prove. And then this time, it's a combination of a lot of different things. As you said, it's the World Cup coming up. It's players being scared of injury. And yeah, even the B team not playing, even not giving chances to everybody else, but it is what it
big up
is.
Asensio, big up Marco fucking Asensio.
Yeah, man. He I think only he played like he had a point to prove, which is
yeah,
wild.
Man kept fighting. I didn't expect I would say those words again about Asensio.
I'm I'm
But
gonna I'm gonna
like,
eat my words. So yeah, I agree with you. I mean, I give him a 6 because I cannot give anyone better grade, but in terms of his, like motivation and willingness, he was the only one in front.
this this was this was the game in which Real Madrid covered the least distance all season. All season. Rayo, they thought young Rayo, our little brothers, what are they gonna do? Fucked us over, easy as that. Easy as that.
We have a couple of comments, Sunit, just on that topic. We have Alfredo Giacomi Barantes, and he typed in Spanish, but I'll just convert it into English so that we can understand, and our listeners are mostly English. So it was foreseeable since Rayo wants the fourth place and not any vice championship. And above all, they want to be in a European tournament since it comes Yeah, to their ambitions, and they want to get into cup
Well, a
finals and
very
fight for it this time. Yeah.
very ambitious team. They always have had a history of playing neck break football. Like they are not known for their low blocks or defensive pragmatic football. They're always known to be a high flying team. So yeah, man, massive respect to
But
Rayo.
but Sonny, we said it in the preview as well. You know, this Rayo, and Farouk said it, this Rayo is not the team that goes 10 men behind the ball. Has never been the Rayo's way, and we knew
Remember the
that
10-2.
this
They
is
never
not the.
passed the buck or anything.
I mean, how on earth does this seem surprising to our players? And we all knew, you know, all of us knew that, all of us, our viewers knew that Rayo plays always like this, and especially against us because we are their biggest rival. For them, winning or lose or tying or even losing and giving a good game against Madrid and save relegation, it's a very good season. And now they are motivated. I said it. I think now they are in position of Conference League. That will be huge for them, and they outplayed them for this game. You know,
Yeah,
and once
Ancelotti.
again, shout out because that's the thing for of almost all of their teams in La Liga. Except for Barca, Atletico, and maybe Valencia, all other teams they will try to outperform themselves against Madrid because that's the way it is. Has always been like that and will always be like that. And we we came as like I think is one of the famous quotes for Santiago Bernabeu that sometimes we imply that we're gonna win without stepping off the bus. Just just to be on the marker, and we're gonna win this game. All of them are professional players. All of them have something to prove, and it seems like we are even more entitled than before because there's no way that in any game, like someone like Frank Garcia outplayed Bini, but he out, sorry, not Bini, Carvajal and Asensio and Valverde, and he did it. And Easy was looking like something out of this world, like prime Iniesta.
Mm.
And this guy
Frank
was
Garcia, unplayable tonight. Unplayable tonight. Too good. Frank Garcia was too good. Too good. He was rightly voted as the man of the match. Brilliant performance. And I honestly think, the club is watching and he'll be bought back next season. We have a 50% clause on him. I hope we exercise it. He is a real talent. I'm not sure about his height, especially us defending on the back post. I'm not too sure about that, but everything else, especially attacking wise, he's a massive upgrade on Mendy. I think the club will move in for Fran Garcia. Um, but yeah, before we get into the players, Ancelotti said we have played too many games. Players are tired in these types of games when the rivals put a lot of pressure on you. You need freshness, and we didn't have it. I've never seen. I've seen our players tired, but I've never seen a match where our players are mentally so fucking fatigued. The only reaction they have in their brain is to boot the ball into the fucking air, not even into the stands. Like if you watch for the second goal that Rayo scored, Mendy had at least 3 chances to clear the ball. He's just standing there watching the ball getting ping ponged 5 yards from him, and he's just standing there unflinching. That just puts into perspective. These guys are beyond gone. They
I
are
mean,
beyond gone.
it's just I mean that's there's nothing else for Carlo to say. Like he's just gonna come and try to defend his players. But I mean, what about the players of the other teams? They are all going to the World Cup. They all played the same amount of games he played. Even some played more. but they performed still to the expected levels. Like, I mean, these guys were literally sleeping like throughout the game. So like they played more, we have fatigue and play teams are gonna attack you. Like that's just gibberish. Like it's just garbage. Like obviously you're not gonna go and play and expect them to surrender and go and score an empty post. No, definitely they're gonna attack you. Definitely, if you want to be successful, definitely you have to play a lot of games. If not, then get eliminated in the group stage of the Champions League, get eliminated in the Copa, and just keep playing La Liga every week, one game a week. If you want to win something, you have to play every week. That's just the point. Like the teams play like shit, and yeah, that's just it. There is no other thing like they're tired or they're this and that. Nah, they just didn't want to play and they didn't play. That's just it.
I mean, I feel like the other teams also know that Real Madrid are expected to play these many games, or they have players who are going to the World Cup, and they see this as an opportunity, and that's exactly the reason why we should be switched on for games like this, which obviously didn't happen.
I'm telling you, there
This
is
is
no
not
club
talking
in
about
the world.
specific Real Madrid thing. Like when you say like
No, I'm saying that's the same across all the top teams.
for every big team in
Mhm.
throughout Europe, they literally
Exactly.
play the same amount of matches as we play, and they
Yeah.
go and they put in performances.
Exactly. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying, that you need to take action. You need to be prepared because this is not a surprise. This does not come out of the box that you know your players will be tired, that you know
There's
these many
no
games
other,
are coming up,
there's no other club, right? There's no other club in world football who is under the magnifying glass for more times than us. Like there's nobody.
It comes
There's,
with the success. It comes with the success, but it's a byproduct. Every
people should
media
be
and
actually people should be actually worried about these things. They should be aware that these guys are watching and studying us every fucking week. You knew as soon as Vinny was gotten into that scuffle in the first half, they knew Vinny was the one we can get at. If we get him on a yellow, wind him up, he's neutralized. A
Yeah.
massive part of his defensive work is nullified. They knew it. They knew it. It took Lukita and Carlo to come over to the side and say, "Hey, Vinny, bro, shut the fuck up, like carry on with the game." But this guy still wants to. I get it. I get it. These guys are, young boys who once dreamed about, reaching the very top. They are here right now, and it is getting to their heads. I can't deny that. I'm rooting for these guys more than anybody in the fucking world, right? But when I see stuff like that, it is not acceptable. Honestly, you shouldn't. The crowd is against you. The ref is against you, right? Obviously, the opposition players are looking for ways to actually, get at you. So when you kind of buy into their negative antics, you're basically encouraging them to keep this going.
on
He
that
should.
on that note, Sunil, we have a couple of comments just disagreeing with you. We have one comment saying, "I feel we're being harsh on Vinny. He had the ball 13 times in the final third this game, and only once a player attacked with him. He was the only one who covered the same distance as usual as the rest." So basically, saying he had the backup. To which I replied, "Do we constantly expect him to be a difference maker now?" To which they replied, "No. The issue in this game for him was Mendy and Rodrigo. Vinny had no link up. Asensio failed the same way. Asensio was failed the same way by Carvajal and Rodrigo." And we also have a comment from Mazin Al Sirier saying, "Mendy must go. He doesn't push forward and puts other players in difficult positions." And we have Abdallah saying, "Carvajal is finished." So different reactions from the people who watched. People, they have a favorite to go
Mendy,
out. And
honestly,
yeah,
Mendy some days looks like the best left back to play the game, and on days like this, my God, this guy doesn't have a right foot. He
it's
doesn't have
it
a right foot. He
it's
should be given a 0-star weak foot on FIFA. This guy and Kamavinga, 0-star weak foot. They can't use their right feet.
yeah,
Fucking hell.
man.
Kamavinga can't play a simple tap on, a simple knock on, not even a pass, a simple flick using his right leg. I don't understand how is he so one footed.
It's been like that today for the whole team. I swear, we had like a meter passes going wide. Like, how does that even happen with this team? Anyway, we have a poll running for our concurrent viewers. I just asked how's today's feelings. There are three options. The first option is it sucks, to which 60% of you have replied, which is what I feel. The second option is let's learn from it. 0% of you have agreed with let's learn from it. And 40% of you say we deserved to lose today. And if you guys want to vote, you can go on your.
Another poll, Yadu, can you put
Yeah.
another poll?
Oh, absolutely, man. Yeah.
Can you ask the question, who was the worst player on the pitch, right? So
Yeah.
these are my shouts, right? Modric, Mendy,
Yeah.
Carvajal. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think Tchouaméni deserves a shout
Just
out.
let Tchouaméni in there as well, man. I mean, you can be the word to be the worst player on the pitch. You have to be on the pitch, right? Tchouaméni wasn't on the pitch.
Yeah.
Bird.
Still, at least I saw him
This
trying.
I mean, this is the worst game Tchouaméni I think will ever have for Real Madrid. I think.
I hope so.
This was fucking stinker, man. Holy
To get away with a pen, you know, very fucking lucky to get away with the pen. The way he slid in the ball.
exactly, man. That was a very, very wow, man. I mean,
if the other guy is much more vocal and rolls around for a bit.
exactly right. Exactly. I was thinking
if he had played it just like 5 seconds more, gone.
Yeah, absolutely fucking lucky to walk away without gifting a pen. But you know, Danny did the job anyways.
I think as you said, Sonny, we even us in this podcast, we tend to magnify all the bad and all the good, you know. When we win, we are the best in the world, week in, week out. And when we lose, it seems like Ferland Mendy deserves to be out of the squad.
There has been a lot of critics for Mendy, and
but Mendy is not the solution if you want to attack on your left flank. You knew that from the day one.
Yeah.
But we raised as a defense.
But the reason why he's still in the team is because of his undeniable defensive qualities. Like
the thing why he's on this team is because there's no left back better available in our range price. Because he's the substitution of Marcelo, and Marcelo was one of the greatest. So he's not as good, and he's never been as good. I think he's 27 now. We can now say without any single doubt that he's not the solution to our problems. And same as
but he's a weapon, you know. People underestimate what Mendy brings to the table. He is an absolute weapon in some sort of game.
Being a good defender is good for a Real Madrid, but it's not great, you know. We said it. We need all the greatest. And I think Carvajal is on the same level because we have not money to bring Hakimi back or someone like that. Because in other way, I think those two positions, if I ask you, Sonny, truly and honestly, the three best left backs and the three best right backs at this moment, you will not give him any position to Ferland Mendy or Carvajal. No way. And I love them both, but there's no way that any of them will be in top 3 in the world. And we usually have top 3 in the world in every single position. You know, Thibaut Courtois is the best goalkeeper, Benzema is the best 9, Vini is the best right wing, or one of the best, if not the best. And then you go to Tchouaméni, to Kroos, to Modric, even Militao has in this conversation, but not our, how you say, like, I know the word for laterales, you know, like, I mean both of them. There are no top 3 in the world. And once Carvajal was, but not anymore. And Ferland Mendy was never one of top 3. And we need, and maybe that's the two positions that we need to strengthen, because we cannot rely on Lucas Vázquez being better than Carvajal, because he's not. And who's the other kid's name? That the one that no plays at all.
Who?
The other right back, Odriozola.
Okay.
We need to buy someone. You know, like I know that we are hated by Paris Saint-Germain, but maybe say directly to Ahraf, like, hey, you want to come out? Try your best. And we try your best to push for you. And someone in the left back, because we cannot rely on you always say it, Sonny. Ferland Mendy is always a 7 or always an 8. And we turn to normalize this because, well, it's an 8. No, we need a 10 because Real Madrid is a 10 team.
We have a comment that's agreeing with you here, Javier. Mendy has been the worst defender this season. The injuries have ruined him. Let's just sign Fran Garcia. He's only 5 mil, says one of the comments. Yeah, man. The general reaction is that.
The thing is that Frank Garcia is a sure shout for a left back spot, but the actual transition from Marcelo and Carvajal should have been Theo and Hakimi, and everybody knows it. Everybody regrets it, and I'm very sure one of the biggest reasons was Zidane, and his loyalty towards the people who earned him the three-peat. Like there's no way that he's gonna turn his back on Marcelo and Dani Carvajal. But Theo and Hakimi were once ours, and Theo is the stand-in captain at AC Milan. And
But he was trash for us. In
He didn't develop the. Yeah, he was in. I mean, we couldn't trust him. We couldn't trust him with the role. I mean, I feel looking back now.
He couldn't defend, right? But you would clearly see that this man had an engine and he had an eye for a killer final ball. In my opinion, I always thought that wherever Theo ends up, he'll be good. And it is not a surprise that he has gone on to become the captain at AC Milan.
The same thing with Hakimi. The same thing with Hakimi. The only reason
Hakimi as well, so I can't comment on it. But
no, the only reason those two players couldn't shine in our system, I mean, at least shine in the team, because they weren't getting the positions, they weren't getting the starts that they deserved for their talents, which came at the wrong time. It was wrong player, wrong.
Hakimi broke into the team when he got his first team call up in. Like he had a few appearances, I think, in 2016, but his breakthrough season was 2017 and 18. And I have been hearing Hakimi's name ever since like 2013. He was that highly rated all throughout the youth.
So, they tried to do the same for Hakimi that they did for Carvajal. On loan in a German team, he was one of the best in Borussia's Dortmund side.
Yeah.
And
easily.
The buyout clause was some reasonable for us. But as Ajadu said, I think it was Zidane's not willing to bench someone as important as him for Carvajal, And I mean, they're both still kind of young. So Hakimi is like, I don't know, like 23, and Theo, I think, is like 24 or so. So maybe we can push them to get once again, because
in this market and the stages I don't know about Hakimi because I don't watch. I don't even classify PSG as a football team, so I think maybe you can price him away from PSG, I guess, But
Probably
AC
not.
Milan and the role that Theo plays for Milan, I don't think he would sacrifice that for us.
Actually, I'm gonna just pitch in here and actually disagree with all of you guys. I think both Theo and Hakimi can't play for Real Madrid because the thing is this. One thing is this, this very also, Nate. Theo takes a very, very prominent role in the attack of AC Milan, similar to what Marcelo did for Real Madrid, right? So the point now becomes, it's like he's playing similar to the way Cancelo plays for City, the way Trent Alexander-Arnold is important for Liverpool as well. And the thing now becomes this, when you have a player like Vinicius on that wing,
Yeah.
Unless if he's going to become a Cristiano who's going to overlap into the center of the park where Benzema currently occupies and hopefully Haaland occupies in the future, then there's a problem there. So the thing is that I think that a defender like Theo Hernandez wouldn't work for Real Madrid. The only reason why he's worked for Milan is that the attack primarily runs through him, I think. And in my opinion, for Hakimi, I think he's really bad defensively. Like his position awareness is totally zero. The best Hakimi I have seen is Hakimi for Conte. And the Hakimi for Conte played with a back three. And the back three, obviously, you don't have to be defensively aware. Like your position awareness doesn't have to be superb. So because of that, and we're playing a back four here. That's the thing. And the only reason why Ferland Mendy, in my opinion, like although he's been a solid 7, and I think a solid 7 has been enough, is because he reduces the workload on Vinicius Jr. He allows Vinicius Jr. to flourish, to be honest. I think that's one of the key reasons why Vinicius Jr. was released across the past 18 months, is that Ferland Mendy provides him a solid background to run whatever he wants to run on the wing and don't bother about the defensive aspect of this. So I think when you start to consider likes of Theo and Achraf Hakimi, I think, to be honest, like there's going to be a little bit wanting on that. On the other hand, unless if you're going to find workaholic midfielders to cover that position, which means you're just going to go back to the system where Liverpool had with Robertson and Trent, and literally no brains in the midfield, just athletes. Just buy 3 Usain Bolts, put them in the midfield, they just keep running up and down.
But the thing is, Farouk, you got to understand that.
Let me just complete this. On the other hand, I swear to God, Fran Garcia seems like he's the real deal, in my opinion. But the question now becomes is, would you buy him and let him develop into the potential world-class player that he can be? Or would you want to buy a ready-made player? That's the other thing that,
We can't compete with states and expect to get ready-made players on our budget. No chance. So whether we like it or not, whether the board likes it or not, whether we fans like it or not, we got to give anybody and everybody a chance.
Which states are you competing with? Other than PSG, you're competing with not statesmen. You're competing with legally logical people, man. I mean, City paid 60 million for a fullback. You also paid 50 million for a fullback. So that's the thing. So It's only PSG you're competing with. So just don't buy players that PSG are buying, and that's just it. I mean, both City and Newcastle so far haven't done anything outrageous. Like only Paris is the only person you're competing with, and that's obviously that's just, as you said, it's not a club on its own. So
I mean, consistently it will be.
Let's move on from this. What ifs? Yeah. We need to get in.
Before we do, Sunay, let me just go through the comments real quick, because there's a fight going on in the comment section, because we have Fran Garcia is statistically better than both Hakimi and Theo this season. Hakimi is also very overrated. I watched him every game. He has a 6 most games than a 10, like we like to hype up. And Theo is not a defender. He's literally a wing back at best. Hakimi is worse than finished Marcelo defensively, and Mendy helping Vini flourish is a myth. It's Cruz covering half that space. We have some of our regulars, Tazaliba and Ashik B, in the comments. Tazaliba is just ranting. And let's address the elephant in the room. Last year we had our time during the CL. Honestly, I saw 1 to 2 good games that Real Madrid were dominant. Most of our games are individual brilliance. What is Carlo Ancelotti doing? And Ashik B just chips in and says PSG will get a Bavarian ass kicking soon enough. Ashik B also adds, the days of us buying big ready-made players are gone. City PSGs, and soon Newcastle will price us out. Agreeing with Sunaid on that. And Tasaliba says, I want to shout out this. Please listen. We are playing shit. We had some luck. Really, we're not playing anything near to the good football that we should be playing. So
actually, I just want to say, I find it so interesting that people conveniently just assume that City are going to outprice you from every single player.
It's probably, let's move away from that shit though.
I mean, we can name, why did Maguire not go to City? Why did Fred not go to City? Because United outpriced them, and people just sit down somewhere creating a myth that, oh yeah, City are going to outprice you on every single player. I don't know where they even get that from.
But the fact is, Farouk, there is way too many clubs that can outmuscle us in terms of spending compared to 10 years before.
I know 5 of these clubs in the Premier League can outmuscle us in the market. But I mean, when we specifically, go in on City. I think it's unfair. That's what I'm saying
It's
there.
specifically going in on City because they have a reputation.
They have a
for
history of.
buying
That's
Oh
what I'm
no,
saying.
a player
That's what
that
I'm
could
saying
work.
now. Give me examples. I gave you example. Why didn't Maguire go to City? Why didn't Fred go to City? Why did Laporte had to wait till January before he went to City? This is because City said, I'm not overpaying. This is your price, and this is the price I'm paying. United came and said, we're giving 80 million pounds for Harry Maguire. City said, we cannot pay this. Sorry. Finish.
no. City have the money and the brains. United just have the money and no brains. That's the only difference there. Let's move on from the topic. And
but
on. Oh, sorry, Javier. Just cutting in.
yeah,
Just
yeah,
for a.
I think.
Yeah.
Sorry, I'm just.
Yeah. Go on. Go on. Yeah.
We buy Chouameni for how much? Like 100 million,
Almost 80,
80
80
Okay.
plus, which is going to be
and
100.
we sold Casemiro for how much?
I think 70, 75.
So it's like an operation plus 20 something millions.
Yeah.
We can do that all the time, and we cannot pay like 150 for a player. I think we can, but let's, for the sake of the conversation, say what we cannot. So if we buy someone in around 100 million and sold 1, 2, 3 players, the gap is like 50 millions, 30 millions, 40 millions. If that's that we are willing to pay, let's do that, and not buy, 100 million left back without selling Mendy for 25 or something like that. Like there's so much
Funny thing
ways
is,
that
the funny thing is, City, right? They have a reputation for overspending, but what they do perfectly well is that if they buy a player and they don't work out, they have the financial backing to just chuck them out of the window, buy a new one. I guarantee you that we can't do it. If we were like City, Hazard would have been out of the door 2 fucking years ago. 2 fucking years ago, he would have been gone, and a new winger, a new brand new 60 million winger, would have been here. That is why I'm telling you, bro. It is not like 10 years ago. We compete with fucking things.
I mean,
But
that's the
yeah,
thing. We're talking about 20 different things. That's the thing here. What you just said now is not City out muscling you in the market. No, it's about City having the luxury of making mistakes over and over and over again. They're not out muscling you in the market. They're just rectifying their mistakes. As you said right now, they brought in Bravo, it wasn't working. They bought Edison, He came, he bought 5 fullbacks. He bought the first one, he didn't like him. He bought the second one, he didn't like him. That's 2 different things. Having unlimited resources is one, and then outbidding someone in the market is a different thing. Totally agree with you. Like, obviously, we can't do that because we don't have unlimited resources. We have limited resources to some certain extent. And comparing also with the money in the Premier League as well, it makes it much more difficult. But yeah, man, I mean, the point is, you can't, as they said, you can't score without taking the shot, man. We just have to take the shots and see if we land on something or don't land on something. That's just it.
Yeah, man.
you
With
have,
regards.
we have to outsmart them, like Jadu said it. If you cannot beat them in their game, you can always say like, yeah, but if you don't want to go to a state club or something like that, you can always go for Real Madrid. We still have 14 champions more than them. So players knew that. They always knew that. And there are some players that are still willing to. There's nothing like we pay them, like there's no like if you came to Madrid, we play for free, but like someone like we said the last summer, Reece James, these kind of players, like young, talented. If the player costs 70 million, I'm not agree. I'm not happy, but that's the way it is. And
Javier, to be honest, I really think like Reece James might even be a possibility, honestly, because with the Chelsea rebuild and the new owner and what is not, I actually think Reece James can be a very, very interesting option, to be honest. I hope really like we're exploring that a lot, because I personally, instead of spending a fucking 150 million on Fede Valverde version 2 in Jude Bellingham, spend that money on fucking Reece James, man. If you're gonna buy an English player, buy fucking Reece James.
You're gonna price out Reece James, who is the equivalent of Dani Carvajal to Chelsea, who is the captain next year, perhaps. You can't get Reece James out of Chelsea. Simple as, man. You can't.
I think 100 plus million man gives you Reece James, but then the problem now becomes is like with that.
It is on the player. The money I think will be 100 million, give or take, for sure. He is the best wing back in the Premier League, but I don't think he as a person would leave Chelsea. No, I was hoping for him to be the successor to Dani Carvajal, but Reece James is a future Chelsea captain.
I don't
He
know,
is
man.
not.
With the turmoil surrounding Chelsea, to be honest, like we don't know what happens with the stability or lack thereof. So that I mean,
It will be a very bad look, you know. Like he like Mason Mount has been Chelsea through and through.
I
Like
think
from
for me,
the
I
under
personally feel like Mason Mount is the most Chelsea in and out person, but I totally get where you're coming from. But I just feel like the stability or lack thereof might be something interesting that might also, attract.
Well, all that can be pushed to the side because tonight's loss wasn't dependent on fucking Reece James. But
But it was
Before,
dependent on Dani Carvajal.
just a small comment before we move on, guys. Just we have some situations developing in the comments discussing our UCL draw, etc., etc. We did a separate episode just covering our UCL draw. We went live today at I mean, just after or even during the UCL draw. If you guys want more insights from us, more insights from our team, make sure to check it out. It's on the channel. But yeah, stay with us for now and check it out later. We have about 19 current viewers. We still have a poll running, which has 7 votes. So yeah, please make sure
who
to
was the
vote.
worst performer on the pitch? What was the
You will be surprised. We have 7 votes. Who was the worst player on the pitch for you? Modric 29%, Mendy 29%, Chauvini 29%,
wow?
Carvajal 13%. So everybody's bad.
Don't close the poll yet. Yeah,
Yeah,
let
it's
it
still
run.
running. And people who are new here, yeah, make sure you subscribe, guys. We're on our road to 1K. We are about
Smash the like
451
button, people.
strong. Yeah. So
Smash
yeah,
the like
so
button.
subscribe, smash like to help us with the algorithm, and yeah, let us know in the comments what you think about today's game, what how you're feeling, and
See, the
vote for
Chelsea
the
3
worst
draw
player.
should have
Yeah,
been the talk right now because tonight should have been a comfortable 1-0, 2-0, 2-1, 1 like easy outing, and we should be actually reflecting on fucking Anfield in a couple of months. But it is what it is. Thibaut again. I don't understand his. This guy has a very bad rap for uh,
talking
having people
shit,
in the back. Yeah,
talking
they're talking shit
shit.
basically. So we all knew, like when we were actually seeing the game, when the pen was retaken, I was thinking Thibaut was off the line, right? But then they show after the goal is scored that Carvajal, like a fucking idiot, I don't understand why he crept into the box. If he doesn't do something that idiotic, if this happened in the first week of VR being implemented, we could say, yeah, we are human, like he would have just had a brain fart. But this is after 2 years of full-fledged VAR in practice, and he doesn't have the half brain cell to realize these guys are going to watch it back on the replay. I don't understand. Like how he can't think to himself, wait, if I'm going to approach or enroach the penalty box before the kick is taken, and my teammate, the guy who has saved us on countless occasions, time and time again, if he manages to save the ball and they find me inside the penalty box, they're going to, chalk the save off and, ask the pen to be retaken. I don't understand such basic instincts. Where are they gone? Like, because of a World Cup, you lose everything? Honestly, you're playing for Luis fucking Enrique. Come on. Anyway,
But
so
I think
one
that
man.
rule deserves to be out. That rule is dumb because if the players invade the area and the result is a goal, they don't repeat it. So it seems to me like almost all the rules for repeating a penalty is against the team that's already conceded the penalty. I think it's dumb. I think the Carvajal reaction is dumb, but I think that the rule is even dumber because
Yeah, the rule completely I think the rule completely is dumb, but I also feel like the rule should be favoring the team that is taking the pen. You know
Yeah, but
what it
it
is.
already is. Like the line, like you said, Thibaut, 1 foot on the line. It's a rule that only benefits the team shooting the penalty. And if you also add the thing that if a player invades the area, it's two rules. I think they are the only two rules in a penalty, and both of them are in favor for the team that shooting the penalty. I mean, if you're gonna shout out of bad performance for Carvajal, it's not the penalty invasion, it's the penalty itself because it's a cross for I don't know, like 60 meters from the left to the right, and he was bad position, just touched the ball with his head like nothing, and then runs to the ball, and then the handball is like, I mean,
I can't
handball,
blame him too much for the handball.
all handballs should be a penalty, all
Yeah,
of them, and
yeah.
we're out of this kind of, but he was intentional or not. All handballs should be penalty,
Yeah.
and you know,
It's high time we get into the players. We shouldn't be diving too in depth because I don't think I have the temperament for it tonight. But before we do so, one another interesting stat. We only have one win in the last 4 games. Can someone remind me? I know obviously the win was against fucking Celtic, but the other three, Girona
Leipzig.
tonight, Rayo, Leipzig, and yeah, that's it, right? Yeah, those are 3 games. Yeah, and the stat reads correlating with the distance covered per game, decreasing every game. This is definitely the World Cup curse. Thank fuck. I just hope like someone. I'm hoping. Okay, this is actually wishing ill on our players, but I'm just hoping someone can like sneak into the team cafeteria, poison the fucking food, call off the game against Cadiz on Thursday, and let the players go to the World Cup.
Bro, what?
Like honestly, because like if we are going by the trend, we are gonna be thrashed by Cadiz, and Cadiz is a far inferior team than Rayo. Nacho's brother is gonna be up for it again. Alex Fernandez is gonna be up for it. I don't understand. Real Madrid have conceded 19 goals in 19 games this season. We can't keep a fucking clean sheet. And
Yeah,
if it
cursed,
is
cursed.
genuinely,
The
if it
clean
is
sheet is
genuinely,
cursed, bro.
if it is genuinely teams actually assaulting us, like
yeah, but
body,
yeah, do
we understand.
one game is a curse, 2 games is a curse. There's no longer a curse. This is a
I say we put Loon in it. Let that man deliver a clean sheet.
no, man. I mean,
I'm
you
just
guys said
kidding.
it was Thibaut Courtois error in the second goal. I don't agree with you guys. Sorry, it
It
was
is not. It is not
an
an error,
awful,
Javier.
an
I feel like
awful,
people have done so
an
much better.
awful reflection from Luca. Awful, and then no one goes to push. If you have space and you show to the goal in the area, and the ball goes to the goal. And Thibaut touched it, but it was so hard. It was not Thibaut's fault. He can do better because he's better, but he's not his fault. It was
It is. It
defensive
is.
fault.
It is a clear weakness, Javier. You can't deny it, right? Like it is for everyone to see that near post shots, if it is on point, Thibaut has a hard time saving it. It has always been the case. In my opinion, that is his only glaring weakness. In an otherwise, stellar career, near post shots for Thibaut is a
Yeah,
problem.
but
But since we're
if
on
you say
Thibaut,
you can say the same for almost all goalkeepers in the world.
maybe,
You know,
maybe,
if you
maybe.
say like, well, Haaland only scores when he's in open space, like, yeah, because he's a fucking machine. But Thibaut can only do so much, you know? He saves a
I
penalty. He
understand,
saves
I
the last.
understand,
He
but
saved
I'm
us
just
like
telling you,
three or
if
four goals
he's not
today.
perfect. See, if we are calling out everybody's weaknesses tonight, it's only fair that we mentioned Thibaut as well. Since we are on Thibaut, guys, like if you have anything to say about our keeper, he tried his best. Like I'm not gonna blame him for the loss. I was just implying that he should have done better. But if you guys have anything else to say about Thibaut, we can move on from Thibaut and move on to the fucking shambolic defense, which I have a lot to say on. And we need to wrap this up soon.
Yeah, the only reason I say the clean sheet is cursed because when Thibaut starts, we just have a lot more confidence in the goalkeeper that we allow some shots, more shots, which ends up in like
That is
one
a
goal
very good
going in,
feeling.
one goal going in, and then there's no clean sheet anymore. So that's why I say it's cursed. But yeah, we'll move on to the defense, Vinay. I just had to get that in.
Yeah, let's start on with the man of the moment, Dani Carvajal. If you guys have anything to say about his performance tonight. Man gave away the pen, right? It is not like entirely on him, even though he was skinned time and time again by Fran Garcia and Alvaro Garcia on their left hand side. Um, the penalty wasn't exactly his major mistake, but the negative IQ to actually like enroach the penalty box. Can't understand it. Seasoned veteran, 5-time Champions League winner, you know, captain at every fucking youth level, future Real Madrid captain. He wore the armband, like after we went behind when Luca came off. Yeah. People who were magically predicting this man is finished are actually having a laugh, and I feel sorry for him. Carvajal, shouldn't be taking such digs like tonight. Honestly. Yeah. Anything else to add on Dan Carvajal, boys?
I mean,
It's just a
Carvajal
dip, probably. Yeah, Farouk, go on. Sorry.
will be back. Like, I mean, it's normal. Like, he's always that's the problem he's had. Like, since 2017, he's always inconsistent to be honest. But like, I mean, on his day, he's a very good fullback, and I think he will be back. That's just it. Like,
Thank you.
um,
Sorry, Farooq. Shout out to Draki Dawkins who just subscribed to our channel. Big up yourself. Go on, Farooq.
yeah, as I was saying, like he will be back. So I mean, we're just like right now in the I don't know overreacting phase or what is not. But I mean, Carvajal will be back. That's one thing I would just like to add there.
I've been a strong advocate of the February fucking switch. I just hope and pray that the February switch comes as soon as the World Cup is done, and we get into that winning rhythm. Hopefully by the Supercopa España. Otherwise, league is a problem. Barcelona are ahead. 2 points ahead already. And we bet them at the Clásico. Imagine. Yeah. Centre backs, Militao. I don't know where to begin with Militao as well. Some of the decision making, especially in tight areas. One moment he makes me wonder, how this guy has a professional contract. The other moment he pulls out something absolutely bonkers. If you guys remember the final play before the halftime whistle, Militao pinging like a 40-yard ball to Vinny. If Vinny's finishes a bit better, we would be talking about probably the goal of the season.
Yeah,
You know,
absolutely.
So I don't understand how these two contrasting versions of every single fucking player is coming out. At the worst time. It doesn't
Also,
make sense.
the Militao header was amazing. He found the space, he pushed the player
Yeah,
down.
the goal.
He's one of our best aerial threats right now, and it's kind of amazing. Again, 50-50 game for him. 5 out of 10 for me, at least. In a loss, maybe a 4. I don't know. Still, can't see.
Brilliant goal. It is not easy to adjust your head and actually bag that much power into your header mid-flight. So yeah, brilliant technique. Remember, Farooq, I used to tell you guys, this guy, the way he leaps and the amount of purchase he gets on his leap, if he just directs the ball, on target, he can be as lethal as Ramos. And you could see clearly from goals like tonight, this man has a very good knack for scoring headers. And yeah, our first goal from a set piece this season, boy oh boy, it didn't end up in much, unfortunately. Anything
Yeah.
else to add on Militao?
So I'm agreeing with you guys. I think Militao is capable of the best and the worst. We usually see his best in full 90 minutes, and then his worst in a full 90 minutes. But I think today was like that, like you said, Suner. He switches on and off all the time. Best worst, best worst, best worst, and that's not sustainable.
Was it Militao? Can you guys just remind me? Like, if you guys go and check it in the chat, as soon as that happened, I put it in a message, put in a message asking you guys, who the fuck was that? Who passed the ball across the box? I think it was around the beginning of the second half, or somewhere around
Yeah,
the 60th.
but it was Mendy.
It was from the left though, so it wasn't Mendy. I think it was Danny or Militao. Wasn't
No,
Mendy?
I remember the play
It
because
was Mendy.
I was fuming as well, and it was Mendy.
I've seen too many of those, too many of those. I don't understand like how they are so very self-assured. I understand that Thibaut is very good with his feet, and Alaba is a brilliant ball-playing centre-back and whatnot. But boy, oh boy, I don't understand these
Across the
balls.
box, across the box, in our own box. I mean, what the
You
fuck?
don't do that
But
on a Sunday
but
league, then. You don't do
they
that.
were probably expecting Cross because Tony Cross has always come back and
Yeah.
saved them for.
Oh, we were missing him so much today. It was unreal.
Alaba. Let's move on to Alaba, boys.
Oh, before that, Sunaid, we have a question from just Mohit. He asks, is Rudiger injured currently? Why doesn't he start over Militao or Alaba? He can add second dimension to the game by playing forward if the team is in distress. What do you guys think?
He
Is
has
he
an
injured
overload.
though?
Yeah.
Okay.
And he's a very good option. We have always cried out, for Rudiger to be given, and even Nacho to be honest, to be given. Farooq, do you remember the first goal they score? The amount of space there is between our centre backs. Can you please tell me why that happened?
They were so deep, man. I actually was wondering where they were so deep, to be honest. Why are they so deep in their own box, honestly? Like, it's so weird, to be honest.
Chouameni.
It made no sense.
Chouameni on that play, man.
No, that's actually, those are the kind of scenarios where you always find Casemiro in the right place at the right time, just throwing himself into something, to block something, to keep something away, to be honest. Yeah, and as you said, very strong, man. Like, the man was. So that's actually the basis of my whole argument that he wasn't even in the game, man. Like, I mean, that's where he should be on the tee. The goal came on the tee, and he wasn't on the tee, man. He wasn't on the tee. I don't know, man.
I mean,
Farooq, any thoughts? Javier, Alaba.
probably just. I mean, it was the first game for Tchouaméni in I think 3 or 4 games, so it was.
You're talking about Chouameni?
Yeah, he was out of his form. I mean, out of position because it wasn't Cross as a reference, and out of form because he didn't play in the last week and a half, I think. And Farouk said it brilliantly. I think this is the worst Tchouaméni that we'll ever see in a Real Madrid shirt. I hope so. But imagine if this game was in early stages of the season, we'll be crying out loud for Casemiro's comeback, and saying Florentinos make a huge mistake. But this guy still has credit, but we cannot sustain another performance like this from Chamonix. There's no way.
Let me ask you something. Yeah. Chouameni is young, right? But in my honest opinion, isn't it on Modric to actually be the guy, you know, um, leading Chouameni? I felt like Modric was taking up so many weird positions tonight. Like I just didn't feel like Modric was complementing, the passage of play at all. Very often, like how many times can you lose possession in a half? It might be a career record for Luka Modric. Like I felt like one of the reasons why Chouameni was so bad was Luka Modric. Like, do you guys think that like I make sense?
You're probably right. You're probably right because, like I said earlier, the younger guys tend to look after, like a guidance, a captain. And if you watch the game and you saw any of us or our players, there was no leader on the field. This, if Modric,
We our midfield.
yeah, Modric
Sorry,
was,
Javier.
but Modric was lost. And if Modric is lost in this game, probably if we have Kroos or Benzema, either of those will be the guidance. But tonight, because the reasons that we all know, Benzema is out and Kroos was out. So they drew out Modric out of his way, and that's it for us. The whole team crumbles because there is no other leader around. Fede is a leader, but he's not at that level yet.
Yeah, yeah. These guys are young, man. Like they can be erratic, but people like Modric should be the reference point. I just can't understand like how you can put in such a performance, when you're supposed to be the leader. Maybe it's just fatigue. I don't understand, but it was so uncharacteristic because usually you watch our team controlling midfield, controlling the speed at which the game flows. There was 4 goals in 7 minutes tonight. You know,
Yeah.
when it was a 2-2, there were 7 goals. I mean, there was 4 goals in 7 minutes. Our midfield in their optimal mode, their optimum level, they wouldn't allow such a flurry to happen in the first place. So it's honestly just very frustrating to watch players of such caliber, such quality, just losing their heads. Um, but yeah, we kind of dipped into midfield. I was asking you about Alaba, if you guys have anything to talk about Alaba, because we barely mentioned anything about him. I felt like he was non-existent, honestly.
That's the thing. Like, to be honest, Alaba today was also non-existent. And you talk about leadership, and you guys mentioned Karim Benzema and Toni Kroos, and I mean, David Alaba was also is rather also a very key member of that leadership group, and today also he was totally out of it, honestly. So I felt even much more than Luka Modric. I feel like one of the reasons why defense wasn't stabilized was because also David Alaba was missing, man. Like he wasn't there to pass out, I would say the commands or tell the guys where to be, where not to be. So I feel like that was also one of the key reasons why it was actually really bad today in the defensive aspect.
Mendy, I think we talked a lot about Mendy. We all shots. People were encouraging him to shoot. One shot wasn't far away. Was pretty good. I felt like, but there seems to be this dependency on him being on the edge of the box and people expecting him to bury, 25-yard bangers week in, week out. It's a tall order. It's a huge ask. I don't think he's, going to net that many goals. But any thoughts on Fede today? He was missing as well for large parts. Large parts. It felt like almost like you're marking fucking Mohamed Salah, like he's been given a role to mark Salah because he was so involved in covering the gaps on the right flank. I felt like we were missing that guy's energy in the final part of the pitch, in the final third. Did you guys feel the same?
Definitely, man. Definitely, for sure. Actually, you know what? I always felt like, I think maybe we discussed this before. I always said, like, you know, Fede Valverde playing on the right wing in a midfield four, or I mean, in a midfield three and playing on the right wing makes a lot, much more difference, to be honest. Because as you just rightly pointed out today, like, he was just covering so many space. Like, I mean, it's just like the total work done is equals to zero. You know, you just keep working and working, but you keep adding and subtracting. And then when you take the not sum of all the forces, it's just zero. You haven't done anything. But although you spent a lot of energy doing something. So that was just it. Like, he just kept on casting himself out. And I mean, it's a trend now, you know, like, other than the Celtic game for the past 3 games, like, Fede has been trash. I mean, he has just been running. I mean, Fede is always going to run. He's always going to give the application. But the point now becomes, like, how are you applying yourself? What's the outcome of the application you're doing, you know? So it's just trash, to be honest. And I want to believe that it's fatigue for Fede because, like, to be honest, like, I've always said, like, he's an animal. He's just a workaholic. He's going to put everything on the field. So I tend to believe that. I just want to believe that maybe that's due to the fatigue and what is not. So I don't know. Like, hopefully, you know, going to the World Cup and coming back will just, you know, settle down everything and give him a reset as well.
I mean, for me, it was it's hard for me to comment something a bad game for Fede, but I will try my best to to say the good thing about him. You know, Rayo constantly was doing 2 against 1 for Fed because, as you said, Sonet, no one else was running for our team. So if you cover 2 against 1 for Fede, it was harder for him to make his game, and no one up front was making moves or anything. So Federer was out, and I think it's almost the same for all our players. You know, like Federer probably was thinking of, man, in this game against Rayo, I will not give my 1,000% if that means that I'm gonna rule out for the World Cup. You know, an injury and some anything in his mind was like, no, man, if all of them are not giving their 100, why should I? I think that's the reading for Fede.
Unbelievable, you know. Unbelievable how much money dictates everyday lives, you know. How money dictates football conversation. How money dictates football calendar. How a fucking nation can twist FIFA, although not the best example of a well-run organization. If a fucking state can twist the hands of FIFA to do something like move an annual ritual that which is a World Cup that is contested every fucking summer, every fucking 4 years, every summer, to a winter World Cup, you know, you needn't say anything more, honestly.
But
This World Cup,
even that's not entirely true, Sonny. It's the terms of money. You know, there's some BS
yeah, I
doing a
know.
World Cup in Qatar in the first place because it's not the first World Cup in summer. In Argentina, in Brazil, in Uruguay, it's winter when it's summer in the other parts of the world because
Yeah.
that's the geography, that's the way it is. It's not because of the cold, because it's insanely to play football in 50 degrees. But they knew that when they give the World Cup to Qatar in the first place. You know, it's not the
Mm.
same the heat or the level, and even though if you want to make a World Cup in a country that is hot, you know, there's ways. You know, you can always make it in the by night, because here in Mexico is like in summer it's like in some states it's like 40, 45 degrees, but you play by night. But the thing is, Qatar is not a country that it's important in the history of football. They buy out and they like no, man, we cannot play in the summer because it's 50 degrees. And they're like, okay, but do it in the winter. And like this weekend, my other team, Borussia, uh, put this huge ban like cancel Qatar. Like against this bullshit. But we can do a 10 days longer podcast against FIFA or UEFA or Qatar, and we will never
Some
be.
of the stuff that I've read, like the I don't recall how many. I think it was four brand new stadiums that they built just for the World Cup, and they had like two or three before the World Cup. And they say that the amount of people who have died, even if you dig a grave for one person each, all those four stadiums combined won't be enough to bury the amount of people who have died, building these fucking stadiums. But it is what it is. The world is like what it is. Nobody will be able to change it. But getting back into the game, a couple more people before we kind of wrap this up. I'm already beyond done with this shit. Rodrigo. Let's start with Rodrigo and your thoughts, boy. I felt like he should have buried at least a prime Rodrigo buries the chance against Girona, like what Farouk said. The best Rodrigo gets at least 2 goals from tonight. 2 goals. Simple application is the middle name of Rodrigo Goish. I don't understand what was his middle name tonight because he wasn't on it. Javier said, yes, being called up to the national team and whatnot, huge day for him. But that should be added fire, added motivation to, come out and give it your all. I don't understand why it has to be a thing where you have this feeling to hold back and not fully apply yourselves. I don't understand, but Rodrigo was very, very below average. Very below average for me. Anything to add regarding Rodrigo?
Somebody in the comments had said at the beginning of our live that the Brazil squad shouldn't have been announced this early on. It feels like the whole squad had a party before starting the game, which I feel holds true even for Rodrigo. The moment he missed that sitter, like Ashik B says in the chat, he thought it was Mariano, so did I, but then turns out it was Rodrigo. Shock. Um, yeah, that was his middle name. He had a shocker of a game, Rodrigo. Poor guy, man. But yeah, we move on because it's what we do.
It is. It
Uh,
is. That's one thing that makes me feel better because this is unlike Rodrigo. He doesn't miss it.
yeah.
Vinicius misses those kind of chances, not Rodrigo. So yeah, the entire algorithm of the team was messed up tonight. It was very evident. Vinicius, the more potent of the two, you could say.
Yeah.
Tried, tried, kept trying. Only thing I criticize about him is his maturity. Some people say it is very mature. I expect even more maturity from him. He is only 23 right now. Yeah. When I was 23, I was no way like this. I would never be able to do a podcast when I was 23. I was a different guy. So I understand there is levels to maturity, but when you're being the talisman of a team and you're playing for Real Madrid, it is a different kind of responsibility. And I feel like he is only inviting other people to actually, pile more pressure on him when he should be the guy standing up to it and not making it worse. You shouldn't be making your coach and your captain play with your tantrums and be the people to get you to calm down. No, honestly. Yeah,
He,
your thought, boy.
he was at least one of those bright points in an otherwise dull game. I mean, I had some hope when we had attacking threats through Vinicius. No matter how it ended, it probably usually ends in a foul or somebody kicking his legs. We even had people slapping the back of his head in the first 5 minutes, escaping without cards. it is what it is. Vinicius is a market target since last season, I would say. All teams expect him to pull something out magical, and the Rayo were more prepared. I mean, we've been giving props to Rayo the whole podcast episode, but yeah, they properly shut down Vinicius, made sure there was nowhere that he could run into. They had three people on him almost all the time, which seriously limited him, frustrated him, which played out the way they wanted to. Lots to take away from Vinicius from this game. If he takes it away, if he takes away the right lessons, we get a better Vinicius. Shit game. One of the better players, apart from Asensio, maybe. But then, yeah, that that
Asensio,
is that is
man of
that
the
is
match.
my takeaway. Farouk, you have anything to add? Javier?
Actually, I think Vini was, to be in my opinion. Actually, I was fearing that he was going to get a red card. But to be honest, I saw a lot of maturity from him, honestly, and which is something that I haven't seen or I wasn't expecting, because I said like I thought he was going to get a red card. But also, I think that took a bit of aggressiveness from his game, because he always tries to play on the front foot. So I guess maybe because he was booked, that actually took a bit, or rather a lot of aggression away from the game, which also meant that he was not as effective as he would like to be, in my opinion. So yeah, and that's something you have to get used to, because like the point is whether he likes it or not. Like now he's a superstar, he's a talisman of a big team. So players are gonna try to wind him, or players are gonna target him, and given that he's also like a flamboyant showboating player, so for sure, like these are things he has to get used to. But then, as I've always said, like my problem becomes this: like he's hanging out with people like Neymar and so on and so forth. Like if he, gets traits and characteristics of them, then we're in trouble.
Yeah, for me, it's almost a combined thing of all of you comments. Like I would resume Vinicius, not this game, but as a player, he's a true game changer, capable of the best and the worst. Like I said, the same thing for Militao this game, but the last game changer that we have was Cristiano, and Vini reminds me of him a lot. You know, capable of doing such great things, but also capable of giving himself roll out of the game because his mind is he's not in the right spot in that game. Like I mean, Vini needs to understand that being a game changer, uh, it's it's a lot to ask for him, but if he managed to do it good, he could be one of the greatest. For me, if today was a red card for Vini, I'm still will love him because the next time he plays, he gonna try to score 3 goals. You can have one game changer per team. You cannot have more than one because will be a chaos. But Vini for me is that. And I think for Real Madrid as an organization and this couple of games, Vini, I think he was the one that struggles that Benzema is not in the game, because we saw time and time again Benzema reaching out to Vini to say like, "Hey, calm down. Hey, touch the ball. Hey, these little notes on his game to polish that because who knows better than Benzema how to play with a game changer? He played with Cristiano. He plays with Mbappe. He knows how to make those guys better. And I think Vini needs Benzema more than we are willing to recognize. More than anyone in this
I think
game, Vini needs Benzema.
everyone tick. Benzema is the guy that makes everyone tick. He is the reference point. He is the guy who initiates the press. He is the linchpin. But honestly, like this is entirely on the board. This is entirely on the board. Like even like clubs half our size, half the size, the clubs that have like half our heritage and history, if they can go for a plan B and buy someone like a Fernando Alonso, not Fernando Alonso, I'm going by the F1 guy. The Fernando, the the old striker who used to play for
Llorente.
Milan.
Renty.
Yeah, Fernando Llorente. Yeah, that's who I'm talking about. Like someone like that, like even if it is like fucking low profile, someone to like throw in on a game like this instead of Mariano.
The same Radamel Falcao could be that guy for us, or even Cavani. Both of them available.
Diego Costa, he plays for Wolves.
No.
Too much chaos, man. No, we need
No,
we need a threat in the box,
giving
but
you an
not.
example that
Yeah,
there are
yeah.
options. There are options.
We
Diego
need a
Costa,
threat in the box, but not that kind of threat. You know what I mean?
yeah,
Yeah,
I
yeah.
get it. He's not human, but yeah, man of the match from our side, Asensio, boys, unbelievable performance, man possessed, trying to do everything on himself. The pen that he won, bro. Massive respect to Asensio. I don't know. He feels like he wants to gain that right wing spot somehow. I
Yeah,
don't know how,
absolutely.
but
Yeah.
he's playing out of his skin, out of
Uh,
his skin.
Ashik B also says he was definitely a bright spot about Asensio. Notice the difference, he was allowed to roam. When that happens, we get the best of Asensio. And he is not a natural winger. Why do we continually play him there? Which is valid point. But yeah, as I said in the chat, we usually have better players occupying those positions where he's supposed to roam freely. Benzema or Lukita usually occupy those positions, forcing Asensio to play on the wing. But he pulled out a magical performance today. As he said, one of the bright spots for me, definitely player of the match.
Brilliant ball on the cross too for Militao. Brilliant cross.
Mhm.
Yeah, unexpected bright spot. Actually, I wasn't looking on Tensio to be the difference between us and Rayo, but fair play to him. Fair play to him. If it is fueled by Luis Enrique, now I wouldn't be very keen to learn that Enrique was motivation. But yeah, big up Asensio. Do you guys have anything to add on Marco?
Javier usually has something to say about Asensio, but not today probably.
Oh, no, I will say so. I said it in the last post match with Farouk, and I think this was Jacob, that this Asensio deserves a place in this team. And
Yeah,
once again, prove that point absolutely right. This Asensio deserves a spot in this team. Not an starting, like he's not better than Rodrigo or Vini or Fede or Kroos or Modric or any of them, but he he's now, I think, the first substitution.
Mm. First choice,
He's a
yes.
first substitution in a
he's
in
the
a
official 12th man this season.
yeah. And I think that spot is well deserved. And I think if I'm a Real Madrid, the president, the guy that makes that kind of decision, I will give him the renovation now instead of after the World Cup, because I think he's gonna do well for Spain. And I said it in the last show. In that range of age or price, where there's no better option. So praise him, because I think he's fighting for his place. The thing with time and time again says he's not he doesn't have this fire in this blood, and now he has. Now he
See, that's
has.
how you channel the World Cup distraction into your daytime job. Let's
Yeah,
get it real, guys. This is your fucking day job, right?
yeah,
The World Cup and the national team is and will always be your side gig. So this is how you apply all that fire and desire into a game like this. Like the club is already spewing propaganda. JLS actually came out and said part of the Real Madrid coaching staff can't wait for the World Cup to end. It has become impossible to keep the players focused. So everybody is gonna throw out the World Cup,
Excuse.
to mask shite performances. I'll tell you something else. Carvajal, by the 70th minute, this is not even the full game, right? By the 70th minute, he had lost the ball 12 times. 12 times, and he's a defender. He is a fucking defender. So this is why, Farooq, I was telling you, Carlo should have subbed off a few players, honestly. He should have seen that something is shockingly going wrong, that, just to at least prove a point, send a message. He should have pulled off 3 players. Probably
Yeah.
it would have sparked something within the team to turn it around.
Camavinga wasn't enough.
Yeah.
Camavinga
wasn't enough. I think Camavinga and also Ceballos and someone like that, 2 or 3 changes.
Yeah.
Attacking at the beginning in the second half, because when we are down once again, we all knew it was already lost.
Yeah.
I mean, before we end, Sunaid, I'll just ask this out to the panel. How do you rate Carlos' game today? Because that's one person we miss out giving a rating. So what do you guys think?
Actually, I personally feel like it's just for me, like Ancelotti couldn't have done much. I mean, as we said, like Tchouaméni wasn't there, Modric was misplacing passes, Rodrigo was missing empty nets, I don't know. Even Coach I felt could have done better on the second goal. I mean, Carvajal did what Carvajal does. Alaba was literally not in the game. So I mean, there is nothing much he could have done.
This was like a Real Madrid team from a different dimension playing in ours. It's just unbelievable how shit we are today.
Exactly. That's it. It was really. I was going through my phone, man, throughout the game. Like I know I was looking at it, closing it, and going back, just checking the lineup to see who is on the bench. I mean, the point you take out Carvajal, you put in Lucas Vazquez, and what? I mean, I don't want Lucas Vazquez to come on. No, I want an attacker to come on. I look there. It's Mariano Diaz. It's Eden Hazard. I mean, okay, let's just keep playing what we're playing. I mean, these are people who are not going to impact the game. And Mariano came up, and there was no impact, and there was zero.
Mariano will have a better impact than Hazard. Let's be honest.
I mean, it doesn't matter. Like, it's just comparing shit on shit, man. Like, it's just they're still shit, so it doesn't matter, man. Like, really, to be honest. Well, as I said, like that's the thing. Like, the thing is, the world entry now is that it's becoming a trend, right? As Sunil rightly pointed, like the stat is 1 win in 4 games. If it was a one-off game, I can totally understand. And the thing actually about this is that it's not like a team packed the box and just hit you on the counter and 1 goal. No, you guys came back and they pegged you back again. It was 2-1 at one time and they went 3-2. So like this was a team that we always complain like, oh, every team comes and plays 10 behind the ball, 11 behind the ball, and what is not. And And I mean, for the first time in a long time, we sit down and it's a team that's taking the game to us, and we just froze. We couldn't compete, to be honest. I mean, I understand you're missing Modric, you're missing Benzema, and to some extent Rudiger, although I don't think Rudiger is that important in this in this conversation. But you're missing Modric and Kroos and Benzema. I can understand that. But if Rodrigo and Vinicius and Asensio and Luka Modric and Tchouaméni are not good enough against Rayo Vallecano, then I'm sorry. Like, I mean, I'm watching the wrong sport. Then I should just stop watching football as a whole.
They had a good game plan. They had their mind games completely on point to shut us down, and they just did that. It feels like we didn't deserve to win today, which is justified, I guess, by the scoreline.
I mean, definitely today we didn't deserve jack shit, man. I mean, if
they deserve to score 2 goals,
man, even if there was a negative point, we deserved a negative point today, man. We deserved a negative point today. I mean, shambolic doesn't even do it any favor, man. I mean, there's not even point trying to quantify it. There is no adjective that can quantify it, man. It was something else.
Yeah, the 2 goals were just for Asensio to show off his skills, honestly. Yeah.
Well, I mean, to be honest, also, like, I mean, the small stadium of Vallecas, I mean, the people there, I think Sonny said it was 14K people there. I mean, kudos to them, shout out to them, man. Like, they totally were as the myth that, the 12th man is the fans in the stands. They were, in every...
They were up for it.
Man, I mean, we're totally
like, you could sense you could sense that just by looking how the crowd was, there was something on the cards. And I'll tell you, I'll tell you basic human psychology. The crowd wouldn't be that, on their edge if they don't sense there is, like clear weaknesses in our armor. They could see that, like if Rayo gives us an actual go, they might get a result. And boy, did they get the result. And about Don Carlo, I have nothing much to say, honestly. Nothing much to say. He should have pulled off a few guys, loyalty again. And we had discussed this at some point, somewhere in December last year too, Farooq, that remember Carlo's cycles usually have a huge breakdown sometime in December, January. I hope that isn't the case, and this is the World Cup thing hanging over, everybody's minds. Just get the fucking World Cup done with, and yeah, we have ground to make up in La Liga, 2 points behind Barcelona. Hopefully, they drop points ASAP, and we shouldn't leave, our fate, especially in La Liga, to a team that we all know is the master when it comes to, churning out results and being consistent. If Barcelona goes into their usual churning out wins mode, it'll be very hard to stop. And I don't think if they go into that mode, we can get a result at the new camp. I don't think so. It'll be a tall order. So let's just pray that they drop points. One final thing, massive respect to Rayo again. When Danny actually seemed like he pulled his groin, he was rolling on the floor with pain. Those guys could have easily gone on a counter, scored. They put the ball out, which they needn't, do. A very, very they showed huge sportsmanship by doing that. I don't think we do that. I don't think we ever do that if we are on the other end of it. So yeah, massive respect. I think all that positive energies spurred Rayo, to the victory. This was no coincidence. This was no happenstance that they were the first team to inflict a loss on mighty Los Blancos. 13 games into the season, and another thing, 13. It was Monday the 13th.
Fucking unlucky, man.
The unlucky, number play too. So everything was against us, boys. It is not just the World Cup.
It's a special season, at least. We have the results of the polls in it. If that's the end of
Go for it.
So we with 17 votes, who was the worst player on the pitch for you? Modric takes 41%, Mendy takes 24%, Chamini takes 24%, and Carvajal takes 12%. So to Modric for Modric to be voted the best player on the pitch, that does something,
Let's come back to this when this guy helps us win the double, hopefully. Subscribe!
Yes, people. Thank you for tuning in. We've had 751 views. We had a lot of people in the comments. Thank you for being here. Make sure you're subscribed. Turn the bell on so that you don't miss whenever we come online. We love having discussions with you. So yes, please stick with us.
We have a lot of World Cup content planned as well. Some special content. We have people representing the actual nations, unlike me, and Yadu. Is Nigeria playing in the World Cup, Farooq? No, right?
We ain't playing, man.
What?
We ain't playing, man. The fucking guy.
Okay. Chill. Victor Osimhen's turn will come, bro. Relax.
Yeah.
But yeah, unlike me, Farooq, and Yadu, we have actual representatives. Javier's Mexico, Doris is Croatia.
I
Am I
represent
missing
Germany this time though. I'm in Germany. I represent Germany this time. So
Oh
yeah.
yeah, we're representing Germany for the sake of it. I represent Brazil since my childhood days, unfortunately or fortunately. But we'll have so much content, lined up. So be sure to tune in and join us, people. Actually, and yeah, love for the love. Smash the like button. Smash the subscribe button. And yeah, thank you as always. See you on the next one. Hala Madrid.
Hala Madrid, guys.
Real
And
Madrid.
bye bye.